The plane with Hennadiy Afanasyev and Yuriy Soloshenko on board landed in Ukraine's capital at the Boryspil airport in a special zone on 14th of June. Both Ukrainians were immediately sent to the hospital. Hennadiy Afanasyev was captured in Russia-occupied Crimea 2 years ago. He reports of having been tortured and forced to witness in the case against Ukrainians Oleh Sentsov and Oleksandr Kolchenko. On having refused, Hennadiy was himself accused of conspiring to commit terrorism in Russia and sentenced to 7 years behind bars. 73-year-old Yuriy Soloshenko, a former director of Poltava-based defense plant Znamya, was arrested in Moscow and later accused of purchasing goods for constructing anti-aircraft warfare for the Ukrainian army. Russian court sentenced him to 6 years in high-security prison. Both Ukrainians were exchanged for 2 pro-Russian supporters, Oleh and Valery Didenko, involved in the tragic events that occurred in Odessa on the 2nd of May 2014. This is when their story started. Russia failed to develop the separatist movement Kolchenko, launching instead a new project named People's Council of Bessarabia. Its top management is situated in Moscow, headed by the Kremlin official Inal Artzimba. Recruited by Russian Secret Service, local Odessa journalist Oleh was supposed to organize informational support for the newly established separatist wing.
Kolchenko was responsible for organizing the first gathering of the People's Council of Bessarabia. By that time, we had already known their goals and were strictly controlling their deeds, following every step.
Both Kolchenko and Didenko were arrested after the first meeting. A video recorded earlier shows the organizers paying money for the actors supposed to launch a mass crowd, seemingly willing to separate from Ukrainian state. After arriving in Moscow, Kolchenko confirms to have been an activist of People's Council of Bessarabia, though claiming it was a cultural project.
We were arrested as the participants of People's Council of Bessarabia. This is national cultural movement, having nothing in common with politics. However, the authorities chose to call it a separatist movement, since we didn't follow their official vector.
Recruited by Kremlin, the local activists were supported to capture the main state buildings during the state holidays on 2nd and 9th of May. In order to prevent Kyiv from military assistance, the terrorists were going to damage 2 main bridges uniting the region of Bessarabia with the rest of Ukraine. Kremlin military help was anticipated to arrive from pro-Russian self-proclaimed Transnistria and neighboring autonomous Gagauzia. Though having failed to launch one more separatist unit in southern Ukraine, Russia is currently preoccupied with another idea, that is promoting the status of Porto Franco for Odessa, meaning free port and free economic zone for the city.